promoting a healthy environment. It's the air we breathe. Clean, safe water. Responsible management of our natural resources. We protect and restore for a sustainable future. The environment matters.
When you have places like this that are remote and close enough to where people are that they can get in here and dump and nobody can see them, these are the kind of places that we have problems.
Anatomy of an illegal dump. We'll check out one problem area and take a look at what the DEP is doing to track down the people responsible. Plus, we'll have a first look at West Virginia's newest, greenest school, Huntington East Middle. Hello everyone and welcome to Environment Matters. I'm Greg Adolphson with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection. But first, on January 9th, an above-ground storage tank at Freedom Industries' Etowah River Terminal was discovered to have leaked roughly 7,500 gallons of a chemical blend used in the coal preparation process. A portion of that leak escaped faulty secondary containment at the facility and spilled into the Elk River. The leak was first reported after inspectors from the DEP's Division of Air Quality, investigating complaints that morning of a chemical odor from area residents, traced the smell to the Freedom Industries facility. That was shortly after 11 a.m. When they arrived on site, the inspectors observed that no spill containment measures had taken place and that a pool of accumulated chemical was seeping through a containment dike. The facility is located along the Elk River about 1.5 miles upstream from West Virginia American Water's Charleston Treatment Plant. The chemical traveled downstream and entered the plant's intakes, contaminating the water for roughly 300,000 residents for several days, forcing schools and businesses to close and limiting water use in the affected areas to sanitation and firefighting only, while the chemical was flushed from the system. The DEP issued notice of violation to Freedom Industries for its release of chemical and ordered the Etowah River facility to cease operations. After it was determined that 11 additional above-ground tanks were within the same failed secondary containment area, the DEP ordered Freedom Industries to remove all remaining materials from the site and submit a plan for remediation of all contaminated soil and groundwater. Freedom Industries filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on January 17th. As of the January 22nd taping of this program, an investigation is underway to the cause of the leak and the actions of those involved. Governor Earl Ray Tomblin has proposed legislation to strengthen regulations on above-ground storage facilities, and the DEP is working with the governor to craft those rules. The DEP will continue to work with local media to bring you accurate, up-to-date information on this ongoing situation. You can also check out our website, dep.wv.gov, for the latest news and releases concerning the spill. Because of the state of emergency and the do not use water restrictions put in place following the spill, hundreds of thousands of bottles of water were distributed to residents in the impacted areas. State officials are encouraging residents to recycle those empty plastic bottles rather than add them to the waste stream. There are several places to drop off your empty bottles, like this site in Cross Lanes. You can also contact your local solid waste authority for more information on where you can take your used plastic bottles for recycling. Statistically, only a tiny fraction of plastic water bottles are ever recycled. The rest end up in landfills, or worse, end up as litter dumped into the landscape. Cleaning up illegal dump sites and litter is the mission of the DEP's REAP program. REAP continues the efforts of several different state and volunteer programs working as a powerful force in the campaign against illegal dumping and littering. The DEP's Mike Huff followed crews on a recent project.
It's hard, dirty, and potentially dangerous work.
We're finding all kinds of stuff out here. Lots of tires, lots of gas tanks. We've found a little bit of meth waste already. We've got some prescription drugs that people have disposed of. We find a little bit of everything in open dumps like this. It seems like in West Virginia it's always on the hillside. Most of the time that's where they try to throw it, where they can throw it over the hill, and that makes it much more difficult for us to clean up then.
This site on Ventura Road near St. Albans has been an ongoing problem, one that the DEP has had to clean up several times, and that's not an uncommon situation.
It's not really a widespread problem. It's kind of a localized problem. When you have places like this that are remote and and close enough to where people are that they can get in here and dump and nobody can see them. These are the kind of places that we have problems.
Finding the evidence to prosecute people who illegally dump involves doing a little detective work, sifting through the mess, looking for names and addresses, and finding ways of connecting people to a certain piece of trash. If it's a known dump site like this one, the DEP will often set up hidden cameras to actually catch violators in the act.
If we get them on camera, they pretty well plead guilty. It's tough. I mean, it's not like you can be everywhere at once. So, we do lots of looking through the garbage, lots of looking for names, lots of different ways to try to prove who did it.
Evidence is forwarded to the Division of Natural Resources law enforcement officials for further investigation and prosecution. The DEP also has a place on its website where you can report illegal dumps. In St. Albans, I'm Mike Huff for Environment Matters.
The DEP's REAP program cleans up roughly 1,100 illegal open dumps every year. Last year, nearly 14,000 West Virginians took part in the DEP's annual spring cleanups. Volunteers with the Adopt a Highway and Make It Shine programs took part in nearly 150 different cleanup projects statewide and helped remove more than 450 tons of trash from West Virginia's landscape. If your group or organization would like to help, you can find out more by checking out the REAP program on our website, dep.wv.gov. Coming up,
But it's a great partnership between all the agencies, which benefits West Virginia as a whole.
a different sort of recycling, how these used Christmas trees can provide real economic benefits, as well as improved aquatic habitat in lakes all around the state. Those stories and more when Environment Matters continues.